breeze blowing, storm clouds moving in. Whatever's gonna happen, it's about to begin. I remember what the drunk donkey told me when he said, son, don't fear. Mike's where the page lies, it's about to appear. Then he's gonna tell you about the wind and the rain. Gonna tell you which way it's going, and if it's gonna be a hurricane. Don't you worry about the news that they try to hide. Just click on Mike's page, Drunk Donkey Nationwide. Well, there'll always be some haters, but they don't understand that Mike's got a friend and 100,000 more across the land. Well, if you want to know it first and you want to know it right and you want to have time to plan, Drunk Donkey Nation tells your friend, Mike, he's your man. Then he's gonna tell you all about the wind and the rain. Gonna tell you if it's gonna be a storm or if it's gonna be a hurricane. Don't you worry about the news others try to hide. Click on Mike's page, Drunk Donkey Nationwide. Yeah, here at Mike's page, Drunk Donkey Nation pride.
All right, everybody, good morning. What's going on? What's up, MT? Appreciate that. All right, well, not used to doing tropics on Saturday or the night, but here we are again. Let me flip off all my little goodies here. We'll pull up some satellite while we chit chat here and say our good mornings. Here's a current look at Ida. All right, so good morning. Thank you for tuning in to Mike's Weather page here on Facebook and YouTube. We have a major hurricane developing in front of our eyes. We're going to go into the latest. Not a lot of changes. So I'm going to keep it kind of focused on point. I'm not going to goof around. We're not going to show dogs. We're going to talk about this hurricane. We got a lot of MWP fans that live in that area. So, man, you know, I don't want this to, I want it to stay serious. We got a lot of folks evacuating along the Louisiana coast, Mississippi. So, and this is it. Today is the final countdown. We're watching this develop. There's a few things I'm going to show you, but it's got the eye ready to show up any moment. We have microwave imagery that's showing very good structure underneath, and when that happens, it doesn't take long for the eye to clear itself out. You can kind of start to see really explosive convection here developing right around center, and that is not a good sign. So it's doing exactly what we expected. Going right over that warm loop eddy current. Very light shear, very moist atmosphere, and we'll get into a little bit more. NAC did mention the dry word possibly towards landfall, but we'll get into that. They still expecting 140 mile an hour major hurricane. So no changes. Tracks almost exactly the same. We're not worried about little wiggles, little wobbles at this point. The effects are going to be the same. If you're in that cone area, I wouldn't be worried about wiggles and wobbles because it's going to do that as it tracks along that high pressure system that's to the east over Florida. So good morning. Shelly's over there, and we got YouTube rocking and rolling. This is on the College of DuPage, by the way. If you want to see some really good satellite, it's up here, DuPage. Click DuPage and then weather analysis, and then satellite. And then they have a floater, mesoscale floater. You click on it, and there is all kinds of high resolution satellite imagery that you can do. So, hey, Tammy Kent, heading to Louisiana. I figured you would be. It's going to be a big one. All right, there's that. So, hey, big shout out to ABC Fine Wine and Spirits, located here in Florida. They're going to get some rain and stormy weather in the Panhandle, so make sure you hit up ABC Fine Wine and Spirits for your hurricane party supplies. This thing is widening. I just posted in our little supporter group. The winds are widening. And as we showed last night, we're going to be getting coastal squall lines across the Florida West Coast today. And we're also going to be getting definitely... Today we're going to get storms like this. Tomorrow we're going to be getting storms like that as our system comes around. So the Panhandle definitely going to get some action. Obviously the worst of it's to the west, but folks, the Panhandle, if you got outdoor plans later tonight, definitely tomorrow, pay attention. You'll be getting some squall lines from Ida. Ada's last year. Ida's this year. Tammy just said hi. Let me just throw out a bunch of our bigger supporters. OSR, big supporters of our page for years. They're the first ones on the scene. Damage assessing, linemen, wire down watchers. So that's Tammy. She's heading there. They do a lot of the pre-storm or post-storm damage assessments to get that power back on right away. Of course, Greg Montgomery's online. He's from Furman. We have a lot of folks supporting Furman now with Furman generator power equipment. They supply so many people with goods that they need for storms. Two more here. I want to do a shout out here to, we had this video last year when Phil and I went to Delta, and we met the crew here from Lodging Solutions, Bolton Holdens now, but this company sets up these massive cities for all these line workers, basically, and power companies, and they set up tents for thousands and thousands of line workers, and they feed them, and they bathe them, and they shower them, and they put them up with linens, and overnight tent cities. Because where do thousands of line workers go? We're talking a storm. There's going to be epic power outages. This is on tap with what we saw last year with Laura. So we're going to see catastrophic damages and power outages that extend way north. And then last but not least, we got Frank Dalton, a big fan of ours. He deals with insurance claims and public adjusters for you. So unfortunately, we're going to have a lot of our MWP fans having to deal with that. So if you got to reach out to somebody, give Frank a call and he'll get you a lot of money, hopefully, and he also does commercial too. Unfortunately, we're going to see a lot of commercial damages. Like I showed you last night, I drove through Lake Charles New Year's, and the amount of businesses that were still destroyed, houses, we're going to see that tomorrow. It's coming, unfortunately. Let's show you the latest couple things. Let's go right into the key messages. These are very important. Life-threatening storm surge, 10 to 15 foot from Morgan City towards the mouth of the Mississippi, 10 to 15 foot now. If this thing does strengthen, it'll be more. If it weakens, it'll be less. But that's tremendous. Extremely dangerous hurricane when it reaches Louisiana, hurricane force winds. They mention catastrophic wind damage wherever the core of Ida moves ashore. And then, of course, rainfall is the big topic nobody talks about. And I posted earlier today some of these rainfall estimates for even Louisiana or New Orleans are epic. In the foot plus range. Let's see if I can find that. Here it is. So this is the WPC estimate rain map. It's kind of hard to tell, but here's a tip of New Orleans here. But look at this, 14. Everything purple's 12 inches plus. So flooding is going to be huge after wind damage. That's coming. The rains are unfortunately going to extend past Tennessee into Kentucky. Anything yellow is 4 to 6 inches of rain. Now we have a frontal boundary coming down that's picking our system up. It's going to slow it down a little bit, unfortunately, and then it's going to pick it up and move it on off to the northeast. That's why we have a little bit of slowdown here as our system reacts to this approaching front. So anything red, unfortunately, is 10 to 15 inches of rain, and that extends upwards into Mississippi. Orange is 6 to 10 inches. So, and that even goes to the tip of Florida. Mobile, Pensacola, possibly 6 to 10 inches of rain. So that's a big story. SPC now up in the risks for tornadoes, as expected. Anywhere in the dark green area, Panhandle, we showed this last night. Squall lines are going to be rolling in throughout the next 2 days, especially obviously east of center. Tornadoes are always a threat. Some storms we get hundreds of tornadoes. Some storms we don't get any. But the threat is there for sure with these squall lines. And it's actually starting today, actually later tonight. We have a little bit of coverage here as our squall lines start to impact as early as tonight. So pay attention to that. Make sure your weather radio is on. Make sure you have your alerts on your phone. Make sure your volume's turned up on your phones, because there's a lot of good weather apps that alert, Red Cross, your local TV stations. Like we have Shield Alert here. Dennis Phillips promotes ABC, so make sure you have some sort of way to get warnings in case your power goes out. Now, obviously now's the time to make sure if you're staying, make sure your phones are all completely charged. Make sure you have power cords figured out as far as phone charger cords. Make sure you have your battery backups charged so you can charge your phones. Make sure you have a power inverter so you can charge off your car if you have to. Because power outages are definitely coming to a large area. People get shocked when they have power outages hundreds of miles inland. Here's a great graphic by by the Weather Channel showing you basically, and I got a link there to the Weather Channel too. They're great. Hurricane warnings that extend into Baton Rouge. So much emphasis is on the coastline. I went on that last night. I wish the National Hurricane Center would extend warnings and watches inland, so people that actually live inland know that, oh my God, we're still under hurricane warnings. We have hurricane warnings that stretch all the way to the Mississippi state line inland. So Baton Rouge, New Orleans are under a hurricane warning. Like Lake Charles red is tropical storm warning, and those extend over to the Alabama Mississippi line. So inland. Here's another look. You can start to see a little eye clearing out. Look right here, you can see it. Little eye starting to show. We're going to see an eye very, 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 very soon. Hurricane hunters are out there right now. They're finding pressures continue to drop. 985 now. This is on Tropical Tidbits, but pressure is dropping fast. They have not even sampled the winds yet here on that big explosion of convection. So these are hurricane hunters. They're tracking it. As I've been alluding to a bazillion times, this storm has obviously been incorrectly diagnosed on other chat rooms about high pressure breaking down over Florida, and it must have had thousands of people worried that this thing was turning into Florida. But look, these models. 5 days ago, I looked back last night, we were showing this. 4 days ago, models were pointing Louisiana. So we are now within 24 hours. So there's no more conspiracy theories that this is going to turn. I don't want to call them that, but that's, I hate seeing people panic. This is where it's going, folks. And a lot of questions. I see a lot of people comparing Katrina anniversary is tomorrow, Sunday. The big question mark I got is this, and I mean, I'm not going to speculate anything because nobody knows, but Katrina came in and straight. and it was farther to the east. So, you know, every storm's different. I don't think anybody knows, you know. Do these waters push in more, you know, coming in at an angle, or do they come in less? You know, does the heart of the surge here and not really push in? So that, you know, it's not the same storm. So nobody knows what it's going to do as far as surge goes. Surge is the most biggest question ever. You know, you can forecast it and it could be wrong. And it's always like the biggest Monday morning quarterback after a storm is people get more mad when they didn't get the surge, which I don't understand. Why would people, why would anybody, hey, what's up, Whitney? What's up, Lance? What's up, Whitney? Nicole, yep, all different. Teresa, yep, blows, you know, I see a lot of messages about pumps and, what's up, Darla, Mila? Appreciate everybody tuning in. It's kind of hard to read everybody. Eric, what's up, Eric? Go Rays, Eric. And I'm not going there as of now. I've been overruled. I don't need to be out there messing things up, that's for sure. They're trying to get everybody out of the city or the area. I added a bunch of very useful links, hopefully, to everybody on the site. So I added these are new links here. I got traffic, Louisiana traffic. Okay, as we get our storm, unfortunately, we're going to start to see closures. This is very important for folks that need to know if they can come back home or not. So right now, look at Interstate 10, it's stopped. Completely jammed up to Interstate 12. And then we got another big holdup right here. And I've seen pictures, you know, that traffic's a nightmare leaving right now the city. Of course, Baton Rouge too. They're in the hurricane warning zone too. All right, so I got that up there. I got Mississippi traffic. I got local National Weather Service offices, and I also got their threats and impacts page, which is very helpful. This is the Southern Region Tropical webpage from the National Hurricane Center, and it zooms in a little bit more on areas that what they might see. So purple means winds greater than 110. That includes Lafayette. I know I do not mean to talk about one city over another. So that is not my goal. But Lafayette 110, Baton Rouge 110. Obviously New Orleans is on the edge, 110. Purple's 110. Anything red is 74. Orange is up to 73. And look, that stretches almost to Jackson. So this is your wind threat map. Your storm surge, obviously we've showed that a bunch. Purple is 9 foot above ground. Other than the levees, you know, they advise everybody to evacuate outside the levee system, 9 foot. And that stretches all the way into Mississippi. We'll show you that more in great detail. Obviously, flooding rain, we talked about that. Rain flooding threat all the way up into Tennessee, close to Nashville, and then tornado threat here in yellow, which we've talked about too. So tornado threats on the east side, almost exactly to the east side, because all the squall lines come in off the Gulf of Mexico. So that's good information, I hope. That's on there. Let's dive in a little deeper to the surge map. We got two maps to look at. This one is your official map showing you surge estimates based on current track and intensity. And we can see 10 to 15 foot from Morgan City down to the Mississippi, and then 7 to 11 all the way to Ocean Springs. 2 to 4 foot all the way to Texas state line and even into Florida state line. So we basically got surge from Texas to Florida. So that's facts. All right, then let's look at another graphic. Surge potential map, or storm surge inundation. Excuse me. Right, this one. Storm. So this one I get asked about a lot. Then we're going to measure the storm. Everybody wants to know size. So after we do this storm surge inundation map, it's my most asked link when I post about surge. It's right there. You click on it, and you got to tell them that you're okay with what you're about to see. Weird. And then we click inundation. I learned this last night. Inundation layer is kind of more the worst case scenario based on what we got brewing. But that's it. That's the map you're seeing shared everywhere. Anything red is 9 foot plus. Orange is 6 foot plus. Yellow is 3 foot plus a surge possible. So, I mean, I'm not 100% familiar with these areas, but we got a lot of cities, you know, in surrounding areas around Morgan City that, you know, levied, could be underwater. You know, that's a big area here of surge potential, and it doesn't just stop in Louisiana. We showed Slidell, if I'm pronouncing it right, I hope so. This particular area really stood out with me coming in off of Bay St. Louis here, this whole area. And that's going to be water rushing in the bay and having nowhere to go. So that could be a potential problem. Well into Mississippi, even in Alabama a little bit there. So that's a lot of surge coming, folks. So if you're, you know, if you're storm chasing, don't get trapped, because you know these roads, there's no way out. So be smart out there and pay attention to this surge potential map. Scary stuff. Let's look here at satellite, and then we will see the size of the storm, and people like to see that. So let's check out the size. It's been hovering around 350, 400. So I saw a note that the storm is expanding, and this is weathernerds.org, by the way. Great satellite site. It's expected to expand as it grows, and that's expected, but it also brings impacts farther away from the center. So the NHC stresses don't get so locked into that center line, because the effects are well past where the center is. And as this thing widens, the hurricane winds are going to widen with it. And we start to see a little bit of eye forming. But Tool here is still about 350. There's 350. 350. 350. So it's about the same. 360. So it's you know, it might get up to 400 again. Tighter storm, you know, sloppy storms look wide. This one's going to pull in some of this banding as it expands the core. So it'll end up 350, but it'll be 350 miles of more intense storms versus 350 miles of rains, and not the heavy convection that we're seeing. So the overall size of the storm is going to increase, meaning, and then we go to the NHC, you can the public advisory here on the NHC tells you how wide it is. And it's sometimes hard to see. Let's see, because there's a lot of text. Remember when they used to be bold for some reason? So right now, hurricane winds extend out 25 miles from the center. So 25 miles from the center, meaning theoretically you could have a 50 miles of hurricane winds. 25 miles from center, and tropical storm force winds extend out 115 miles from center. So basically 220, 230, 230 miles wide tropical storm force winds, so in the about 50 miles wide, and it'll end up stretching. It'll end up these numbers will increase for sure. All right, so what else we got? Let's see. Tropical storm. All right, 10. Listen, I put this on there too, by the way. That formed. I had a couple people panicking about that. That one's getting pulled north. Tropical depression 10. So, and right at the end, I'm going to show. We've briefly been watching possibility of low pressure next week. So Canadian's really the only one. So we'll get into that at the end. But there's very low confidence right now of anything at least in the next week as far as impacting, which is good. But they did name Tropical Depression 10, in case you're wondering. Invest 97 is going off into the great unknown. Gonna hang out with Elsa. Where are you, Elsa? Yeah, okay, the squalls. Let's see. Let's take a look at estimated radar. Like I said, Florida radar, you're going to see squalls today. We're going to have some of them inch into the Florida West Coast. You can see them get pulled in around Jacksonville now. These are going to increase with daytime heating today. And, general flow from the south, you're going to see these possibly quickies come around. And we'll look at estimated radar here, which will really show other areas getting more than the core. Obviously, wherever the storm's going is the high impact zone, but we can zoom here a little closer to the southeast. All right, so here's what we can get today. Let me fast forward a little bit. All right, so this is 3 o'clock. 3 o'clock. So there's that outside chance here of some squalls through the west coast here. There's going to be some up in the Tallahassee area. General flow is just wrapping this moisture around, and this is afternoon time. And then things really start to heat up. We could have some squalls entering overnight hours for the Panhandle. And here's the core. This is about 8, 9, 10 o'clock tonight. And then we really start to get the big stuff here overnight. Pensacola, Panhandle, you're going to get some storms tonight, as predicted. There's a pretty heavy little squall line setting up possibly about 1 in the morning. So, and then the big stuff starts to really roll in early morning hours tomorrow. And then midday tomorrow, depending on what time landfall is. Here's these squalls now coming in from the south, wrapping around and bringing stormy action throughout the day tomorrow. And as we go in time, this is tomorrow evening, and still some scragglers coming in. So there you go. Let's take a look at the latest H-Wharf. Remember, a couple things. A deepening system, if this thing is still strengthening as it nears landfall, it's going to take a longer time to weaken as it goes north. And that's why we're going to see extended damages north. Some of you might recall with Michael, so much focus is on landfall, but the inland effects and the wind will extend well past center. All right, so here's H-Wharf, latest one, right around 942. So a week and a tick, That's good. One note, I guess we need to compare about Michael, is we had a lot of models showing 920, 930. And at least this morning, we're seeing models hover around 940. Now that's still category 4. Max wind 115 knots. So this is right on par with what the NHC is calling. But at least at this point, we're not seeing 920s and 930s pressure at this point. Still a lot of unknowns as this thing goes over that very warm loop current. But here you go. Anyway, here's the latest H-Wharf. And it's, tracks right there. This would show landfall later tomorrow evening. Obviously, the effects really go downhill as the storm's approaching. NAM, don't ever, Michael, never look at the NAM for tropics. That's one fact of life. Remember, around 90% of all hurricane deaths are water related. So, 90+% of water of deaths are water related. Just remember that. So surge and inland flooding, huge dangers of All right, so there you go. Let's take a look at the latest HMON, because the NHC has been quoting the HMON quite a bit. It's been right on par with the HWRF 2. We'll see here. See, 959. Let's hope that, 950, if you're curious, 950 would be still a major hurricane, but people are worried about a Cat 5, and it all depends how much rapid intensification we get today. But 950 range is definitely even possibly Cat 3. But the HMON's never really been the best model, so I really think you need to pay attention to the HWRF on this one. And the other one that's had it pretty spot on has been the GFS, and it's keeping it around 952. Dogs. There's a Euro 950. Just tropical tidbits, by the way, 950. So at least at this point here, we're not seeing anything in the 920 range, 930 range. So if you're worried about a Cat 5 at this point, at least the models haven't really shown it. If they're, doesn't say it can't happen. It all depends what happens today. We've seen storms really come alive in the last 24 hours of their journey. So this, we'll know by watching pressure. And it takes a while for the winds to catch up. Now, lowering pressure systems create more surge from what I've seen over the years. So if this thing continues to drop pressure, then we'll definitely see surge, a bigger story. And I mentioned last night, I said if we start to read the NHC discussions, and they kind of tease the idea maybe a little bit of dry air intrusion on approach could weaken it a little bit. And I read on another site about it, if this thing gets so strong that they naturally go through an eye wall replacement at times. And I don't know if it would be too early in the journey that could happen. But, there are things that could happen at the last minute that slow it down a little bit. And you don't want to see a Cat 5, trust me. It makes headlines, but we want to see some dry air, and there's still going to be damages regardless if it's a 4 or 5, trust me. There is a little bit of dry air on the southwest side, I guess is what they're talking about. This little bit, maybe. Maybe it would adjust a little bit. Maybe. They mentioned it. Let's see what they said about it, by the way. They did talk about it. Right here. It says, possibility some dry air might train the system slow the expected intensification. So, we'll see. The loop eddy I keep talking about, it's a couple things. Ocean heat content, this is what's got everybody worried about rapid intensification. This map right here, this shows you how hot the water is, and it's going exactly on this path here of the really hot water below the sea surface that can help fuel systems. This big red pocket is definitely an anomaly, and that is because the Gulf Stream has been carried up into the Gulf, and it's still being pumped full of this hot water. So this is the extension of the Gulf Stream. Normally we see this break off and continue that current around, and we'll get these smaller loop eddies that are a little smaller, and they kind of drift around and show up at different places. Kind of rare to see a loop current this long, and this is hot water. That's warm water flowing that's coming up from the Caribbean, and that's what everybody's worried about, is what's it going to do now it's over all this hot water, hotter than normal water. I don't recall seeing this much ocean heat content or a loop current this intense watching storms in the past. So this will be, if this thing does blow up into a 4 or 5, this will be the reason why. And that's what we got to watch close. You know, you don't want to see pressure dropping fast. Now the winds do take a little time to catch up. So we might get 970, 975, and you won't see the winds right away. It takes a little bit of time for the winds to catch up to pressure drops. So you get pressure drops first, and then you get the winds catch up to the pressure drops. So, you know, we start seeing steady 970, 60, 50. I mean, that's, what is it, 24 millibars in 24 hours or something like that? I think it is. I don't know. Don't quote me on that. But there you go. So, man, you know, just take it serious. If you're in the path, if you're in an evacuation zone, take that serious. A lot of low-lying areas. I mean, you know, if once tropical storm force winds come, emergency management cannot come rescue. So you'll get stranded. That's why they want people to evacuate, mainly to ease the emergency needs. Lambs, no, good question. They do know that these loop eddies have helped intensify storms like Harvey. Remember, Harvey was just an open wave that came across the Yucatan and blew up quick. And it parked over one of these loop eddies that were spinning over there off the coast of Texas. And it was, articles wrote about Michael, same thing, fed into one of these loop eddies. This time, same time, you know, this time of year, the summer. So, wobble, Lucy, very little chance. Wobbles, now you're going to see this thing wobble. There's a strong high pressure over Florida, and it is not going to impact that. These high pressure systems actually help push our systems northwestward. And let's see if I can find a really good recent. That's not the right one. Let's see. This kind of shows it, I guess. But these are our pressure gradients, and you know, the high pressure system is just strong. It is rolling around. It is retreating, but high pressure winds actually rotate clockwise, and our Ida rotates counterclockwise. And then when they meet, they actually kind of work together and accelerate to the northwest there around this high pressure system. So steering currents are very, very confident. Very confident. And this is a great map. This shows you the high pressure and basically where it's going. It's riding this high pressure system. And eventually our high pressure system feels this frontal area coming, and this slides this way, and this will ride around and end up going back to the northeast. So that's been the confidence for days and days and days. Some storms, there's very low confidence on that. This storm was different. I posted a video on my page a second ago. Make sure you check it out. It was an old Katrina video. I always thought was so heartbreaking, of a family that had to escape to their attic. Not trying to scare anybody, trust me, but it's a real life POV video that was taken by a family, and it really is an eye-opener about how fast things can happen if you're in a surge area or a and I don't even know that. I think that was even I think that was more east of Katrina. But all right, so what else is going on? So I post a lot of updates on Twitter, Joe. I'm always on Twitter, buddy. You got to follow me. Tropical. So my routine on Twitter is I post everything. I can't post the video, but everything that I post on Facebook, I post on Twitter. Everything. Look, everything. This is all my posts today. Retweets, posts, flood maps, radar, spaghetti models. This is all today. And I also do the same thing on Instagram because we have a lot of folks on Instagram that don't come to Facebook. So I have all my posts I also put on Instagram. So I am on Twitter. Even try to put a radar on.
Major Hurricane Ida expected for Louisiana.
I'm experimenting with TikTok.
Tonight over Cuba.
I had 1,000. I had 1,000 views, so maybe I got to find a niche over there. I get more views with the dogs though, me being stupid, than I do weather. People don't want weather on TikTok. Miles, yeah. So listen, I'm going there next week. We gotta we'll be sharing who hooked us up with a nice little place. So we're going back to the heart of Michael, and we're staying on Mexico Beach. Planning on doing some interviews. Some folks and the construction crew that built the house we're staying in was destroyed during Michael. So it's kind of ironic that that's where we're going. So we'll be there next weekend for Labor Day, and we'll be doing some special videos about it because we were obviously streaming live during Michael, and had a lot of fans that way too that had to live it the worst kind of way. Anyway, what else we got on? Tim Bolin, yes. Rhonda Clark, yeah, I love that area. What else is up? So listen. Everybody should be in prep mode. Thank you, Alan Timmons. I appreciate it. East, no, Surge, yeah. Well, hey Stephanie, yep, we're coming your way. Daytona. Yeah, hey Chris, where you been, man? I've been looking for you, buddy. We gave up our Daytona trip. Now, everybody's worried about Track East. I had $1. I even called Shelly yesterday. I'm like, ugh. If I thought there was any chance this thing was going to turn and hit the panhandle, I would be the first one. Trust me, I like to be the outlaw and go against and try to predict things, and but I'm not going to be irresponsible and say, oh, I think there's a chance this high pressure is going to back down and it's going to do that. That's not going to happen. So there you go. These are all your look at as the days get closer. These are weathernerds.org. But look at this. This is 51 members of the Euro. Not one drunken Euro thinks that this thing is going to move. That's tight. That's a tight spread for a storm over 24 hours out. So, and then if you go to the GFS, you do got one drunken GFSer, but other than that, you got 31 of these guys. So you subtract one, you got 30. You always get that one outlier, but that's tight. So when you start putting all the ensembles together from all the runs, spaghetti models, these 12Zs just came out. Here's your 12Z suite just came out, and doesn't get much tighter than that. Little wiggles and wobbles you're going to get. Storm surge, unfortunately, isn't going to change much because all this water. I'm really concerned about parts of Mississippi with this water, coming in, even into Alabama. That to me could be the story. Lake Pontchartrain, the angle of approach. There's so much research being done on the angle of approach and how surge reacts to that. Emily, you about ready? Yeah. Sticky clump spaghetti, Mirtha. Yeah. All right, so yeah, we got Tropical Depression 10. No stress on that one. It's going north. I updated the website. I updated the app. This is Tropical Tidbits. Great site. I got all his stuff linked. We're watching that eye form between our eye. It's coming any moment. We're going to see an eye on satellite. It's coming. It's near. Any moment, you'll see it. We're going to have a secondary blow up. These things pulse. They blow up, cool down, expand, blow up, and we'll see these pulses of convection throughout the day. The main thing is watching the structure underneath the microwave imagery. Listen, if you're new to the site too, I try to keep things real simple. Obviously, I got the video that we got rolling here on YouTube, but all the important links are on this column right here, all the way down. Everything you might want to see on what you need. Here's microwave imagery. A lot of big dogs use this because it examines the core, and watch it develop the eye on microwave imagery there right at the last second. So that's usually indicative of strengthening system. And once it wraps completely around that eye, then we have stacking and things. Definitely. I mean, we were talking about Elsa a few weeks ago, right? And it was a hurricane. It was the ugliest thing you've ever seen on the planet for a hurricane. This is not Elsa. This is definitely got that look of, of a strong system developing. And all we got to do is zoom out and look at the Gulf and see it, and really get a bird's eye view of how it really looks here with the Gulf. Let's do it like that. And we'll spin it. And it's starting to fan out. You see that outflow way to the north. I mean, we got banding all the way down to Cuba now. We got banding across the state of Florida. I mean, it's very low shear environment. A little bit of shear on the west side, but not anything that looks like it's going to hurt anything as it makes that little trek here through the Gulf. So that's it. Just be safe. There's really nothing much more that I can say. I'll keep updating, but we know it's there. We know where it's going, and there's very little speculation now. Yeah, Debbie, I know Jeff's out there. There's a lot of storm chasers. This was a little too far. Plus, I got Shelly and Julie mad at me. I would like to go and post film, though. I still could do that. I'm more interested in the what happens to a storm, after. Not enough press talks about what happens after a storm. It's like all the news and media gets all hyped up on landfall, and then they turn around and they go off to the next story. Especially, I always say fall and football. All they want, all you see on news is football and fall colors. You don't see hurricane coverage. So unfortunately, for a storm that we were watching, we're going to have weeks and weeks of recovery, months. Lake Charles is barely getting back to normal, barely. And that was a storm that was a year ago, so. Oh, so I can go now, Shelly? Hey, did you do Sarah's hair? No, not yet. All right, we got to go. Okay, well, listen. So, you ever see a movie Armageddon? So we got, 15 foot of surge, tornadoes, 140-mile-an-hour winds. Worst case possible. Hey, Jason. You be working claims? All right, man. All right. Well, hey, yeah, if you got any picks, if we got anybody out there, please send us information. Arizona getting that Cat 1 hurricane? Lord, Andrew? What was the name of that sucker? We posted it yesterday. It was Nora. So there's Nora. I don't know if there's going to be any left of Nora by the time it gets to Arizona, but hey, you never know. We can look at spaghetti models on Nora. Take a look at it. Hey, you got a few spaghetti models. Could get a little rain. Greg Montgomery, you can be chasing. But that's, Pacific. I don't cover Pacific like some, but I'm a one-man band. So I do, I do take a lot of pride. I spend a lot of hours doing this. Shelly works her tail off, and now Sandy, and, we try hard. Can't make everybody happy. Dennis Phillips just posted. So Dennis Phillips messaged me last night. He goes, "Are you storm chasing?" He wanted me to run some generator stuff up. I said, "Julie won't let me." He said she's probably smarter than both of us. Oh, Corey just messaged me. What's up, Corey? He's going to give us some coverage. So Corey Ecton just messaged me. He sent me that picture. Do you remember that day? What was that? Remember that day? Oh, man. All right, but let's look back. Let's just for example, let's look back at some models. Look at the GFS. This was on the 25th, so 3 days ago. It's 6 in the morning, too. So 3 days ago, we had 947 on the GFS. And pretty much model consistency. This is where it started trending. Remember, and then we started to see this slow turn up into Louisiana. 24. So we've been talking about this one for 5 or 6 days. Here's that moisture plume that we showed. This is on the 24th, 4 days ago. GFS showing kind of what we're looking at right now. Environment, yeah. So, it's fun to look back and see what's happened and the trends. All right, cool. Well, listen, all right. Well, let's be safe. I'll be updating all day. We got 11 o'clock advisory coming out in about 30 minutes. So the all-important 11 o'clock advisory from the NHC will have a new cone. They'll have new discussion. They'll have new potential, what they think as far as winds go. They're still showing 140-mile-an-hour winds on approach. And we'll zoom in on that real quick. So still 140-mile-an-hour winds. They do mention a couple models are a little less. But timing here is 1 p.m. Central Daylight Time tomorrow. So things will start going downhill fast tonight. Definitely in the morning. But, we could see this on approach. That's the latest center line track. And, we're going to have little wiggles and wobbles. But that's pretty locked in stone there. So be safe. Cool. All right, well, have a great day. Appreciate you tuning in. And if you live in that area, man, we're thinking of you guys and girls. And hope everybody stays safe. That's the most important thing, right? All right, cool. I'll be posting all day long, as always. So I don't know about a live. Maybe in the morning. Maybe we'll see. But we'll announce it. We always do. Pressure drop down to 982, Stephen. Hey, sweetie, about ready? Come here. Come on, say hi. Sarah wants to say hi. Come on. Emily did something. Say hi to everybody.
Hi.
You remember it was your birthday? It's not her birthday. But Emily played a trick on her and got her a birthday cake. And now when we go to Apps and Taps, or at Johnny's now, you think it's your birthday.
Yeah.
Right? So where are we going now?
Playing
Where are we going?
softball.
Softball. That's right. We're going to get Dunkin' Donuts.
Donuts.
One Dunkin' Donuts? All right. Why don't you pick up Hunter? Show everybody Hunter. Pick him up. Put your phone down. I guess we'll show you one dog. Maybe it'll make everybody a little happy. Take the stress off of Hurricane Ida. How about just grab me any dog? Go get Hunter. All right, we'll show Louie real quick. She'll get Hunter, then we'll say goodbye. Here's Louie. Louie, say hi to everybody. There's Louie. Come here. Bring Hunter. Hunter's out running around somewhere. But yeah, we got Dunkin' coming, Taylor. I get some bacon. I kind of feel like bacon today. You want to say hi?
No.
Okay. All right. Well, I don't know if she can find. What are you doing? Where's Hunter?
Hunter's right underneath.
She can't find Hunter. Come here. All right. And here's Hunter. Then we got to go. So there's Hunter. Say bye, everybody. Say stay safe. Say this sucks. We got a big hurricane coming. But we're ready for it, right? The only good thing about hurricanes is you know they're coming. Earthquakes, tornadoes, tsunamis. You don't know they're coming. At least with this storm, you know it's coming. You know it's coming. That's the only good thing about a hurricane is you have time to prepare. And shouldn't be any surprises. So think about that. Life's more important. So, all right, we'll see you guys later. Have a great